you are looking at in this clip once promised his lover the world. But instead of love, what he gave her was death. In Nigeria, stories like this are becoming disturbingly common. Young men who once played the role of doting boyfriends turning into cold-blooded killers, all for money, cars, or comfort. Today, we are diving into 3 shocking cases of Nigerian sugar boys, young lovers who murdered their older girlfriends, the very women who cared for them, financed their lifestyles, and trusted them. Let's look at case number 1, Ede Tochukwu Christian, the school teacher who turned murder suspect. When neighbors began complaining of a foul smell coming from Ijeoma's apartment in Lugbe, Abuja, no one could imagine the horror waiting inside. Wrapped in her own rug, the decomposing remains of 49-year-old Ijeoma Phyllis was discovered days after she had been murdered by her much younger boyfriend, a man she had loved, housed, and supported for years. Ijeoma Phyllis was an entrepreneur and fashion business owner with multiple shops in Abuja. She had a master's degree in medical sociology from the University of Abuja and a bachelor's degree in sociology from Enugu State University of Science and Technology. According to the Police Intelligence Response Team, IRT, 31-year-old Ede Tochukwu Christian was arrested for the killing of his older lover, Ijeoma Phyllis, in her 2-bedroom apartment in the Lugbe area of the Federal Capital Territory on October 24, 2022. Tochukwu, who confessed to the crime, admitted that he struck Ijeoma on the back of her head with a pestle during a heated argument. After hitting her, he fled the scene, taking her Toyota Camry, phones, and several other belongings. He later changed the car's documents and sold it for 1.7 million naira before escaping to Port Harcourt, where he was eventually arrested on November 2nd by operatives of the IRT. Ede Tochukwu said he met Ijeoma in 2020 through a Facebook group. Their relationship started on a happy note, and before long he moved into her apartment in Abuja. Ijeoma, a fashion entrepreneur with shops in the capital city, was described as generous and caring. Tochukwu said she bought him clothes and took care of him, although she rarely gave him cash. He claimed that over time the relationship turned sour. According to him, Ijeoma became suspicious and controlling, often accusing him of infidelity. In an attempt to reassure her, he said he introduced her to his family and even considered marriage. Tochukwu worked as a teacher, earning 75,000 naira monthly. He said Ijeoma began to demand that he contributes 100,000 every month for food and household expenses, a demand he couldn't meet. He alleged that their disagreements grew worse because she started treating him like a wife, assigning him chores and verbally abusing him. By mid-2022, their relationship had reportedly deteriorated, and further, Tochukwu claimed that Ijeoma gave him a Toyota Highlander in March 2022, which he sold without her consent. The following month, the incident sparked repeated arguments between them and eventually led to their breakup. On October 23, Ijeoma invited Tochukwu over, saying she wanted to resolve their issues. He said they argued over the sold car and his new relationship. She allegedly demanded that he return her vehicle or refund the money. According to him, the argument escalated when he refused her advances, and she attacked him with a pestle. The killer boyfriend claimed that she first hit him on the back while uttering threats. In his words, he tried to defend himself and grabbed the pestle from her. When she picked it up again, he said he reflexively struck her on the head. But instead of calling for medical help, Tochukwu fled through the back door, locked the house, and drove off in her car. He later told journalists that he panicked and didn't mean to kill her, calling it a mistake. Days later, Ijeoma's elder sister received a call from the caretaker of her sister's apartment. He was worried because Ijeoma had not been seen for days and her car was missing. When the sister arrived, She noticed a foul odor coming from inside, but could not enter. Then she went to the Lugbe police station to file a report. The next day, accompanied by police officers and environmental officials, they broke into the apartment. Inside, they found Ijeoma's body wrapped in a center rug, already decomposing. Her phones, television, and car were missing. Her family was devastated. The smell they had perceived earlier was her remains. She had been wrapped up for over 4 days. After Ijeoma's death was reported, police traced Tochukwu's movements and discovered he had fled to Port Harcourt, where he was sporting with a new lover, a single mother. The IRT team arrested him on November 2, just over a week after the killing. In the IRT office in Abuja, Tochukwu confessed to killing Ijeoma but insisted it was not intentional. He said he had been under pressure in the relationship and that things had spiraled out of control. Tochukwu is now facing charges for culpable homicide. Case number 2 is Kelechi Williams, a wanted criminal turned murderer. A successful Lagos businesswoman believed she had finally found a man who loved her for who she was, not for what she had. But while she saw affection, he saw opportunity. While she dreamed of companionship, he plotted her death. When 39-year-old Lizzie Ndideka, a hardworking entrepreneur and mother of 4, opened her heart to a younger man called Kelechi, she didn't know she was inviting a serial killer into her life and her home. It all began on the morning of July 19, 2014, when Lizzie's young daughter had gone to her mother's room but got no response. The door was locked. She kept knocking and knocking, and there was no answer. Frightened, the little girl ran to the gate man for help. The man tried to call Lizzie, but her phones were switched off. In his desperation, he went to a neighbor to borrow a ladder and peeped through the bedroom window. What he saw made his blood run cold. Lizzie lay lifeless on the floor. Soon the police were contacted. When they broke down the door, the room told the story of violence and betrayal. The successful businesswoman had been murdered, and the prime suspect was her boyfriend, a man she thought she could trust. Lizzie, a divorced mother of 4, was the chief executive officer of Edmark International in Lagos, a thriving networking company, and was widely respected in business circles for her intelligence and drive. She owned several houses and was in the process of moving into a newly completed house before her demise. She told one of her brothers to meet her very early on July 23, 2014 to assist her in moving to the new apartment. She had already made these plans when Kelechi came in from Ghana to visit her. Nobody thought his visit was unusual. He used to come and go in her home the way he liked. Everyone knew them as a couple. She was also planning a vacation to the United States with her children. Williams Kelechi Mojeku was born in 1983. He was a secondary school dropout from Umuoji, Anambra State. He was one of 8 siblings and lived in Ghana trading in second-hand clothes. But beneath his easy smile and charming personality, he had a dark past. Their love story began in 2011 at a hotel in Ghana where Lizzie had gone on a business trip. They met briefly, exchanged pleasantries, and went their separate ways. Years later, in February 2014, fate, or rather misfortune, brought them together again in Inewi during a visit Kelechi made to see his sister. He spotted Lizzie by the roadside waiting for a commercial motorcycle. After reintroducing himself, they exchanged numbers and soon started a relationship. By that time, Lizzie had been single for a while and probably thought she had met a genuine companion. On July 16, 2014, Williams, that's Kelechi, arrived from Ghana to visit Lizzie. The next day, they went out together and returned home late. By Friday, Lizzie told him to stay home and rest while she went to inspect her new house. She promised to be back by 6 p.m., but hours passed and she didn't return. Kelechi claimed he called her almost 30 times with no response. Around midnight, she finally walked in. When he questioned her why she ignored his calls, she said her phone was on silent. Suspicious, Kelechi said he dialed a number and it rang. He also claimed that a call came in shortly after, and on the caller ID was the name Ifeanyi. Lizzie, he said, refused to pick up, so he grabbed the phone and answered. The voice on the other end answered, "Hello, baby." He said Lizzie snatched the phone, switched it off, and an argument broke out. In anger, she slapped him, and he retaliated. The fight escalated until Lizzie grabbed his genitals in defense. Lizzie grabbed his genitals. Okay? Then Kelechi reached for a wrapper and strangled her as a form of defense. Moments later, he said she was dead. And that was around 2 a.m. He packed Lizzie's valuables, her jewelry, iPads, phones, thousands of naira, dollars, and loaded it into her Range Rover. Before fleeing, he woke the security guard, handed him Lizzie's ATM card, and asked him to withdraw 100,000 naira, claiming he was heading to a club. He even told the guard that Lizzie said she wasn't feeling well. Completely unaware of what had happened, the gate man went to get the cash and handed it over to Kelechi. By morning, Lizzie's body was found, and by the time the police arrived, Kelechi was already on his way to Ghana. He had even applied for an international passport using Lizzie's last name so he could cross borders without suspicion. But his freedom didn't last long. 10 days later, on July 29, 2014, Interpol arrested him at Ghana-Cote d'Ivoire border. Detectives later confirmed that Kelechi had carefully planned Lizzie's death. Just hours before the murder, the two had gone to the bank together to withdraw 4 million naira from her account. After killing her, he drove the car confidently across the Seme border through Benin Republic and Togo before entering Ghana. Shockingly, once there, he went to church for Thanksgiving and even threw a party to celebrate his new car. Police investigations also revealed that he had previously murdered someone in South Africa before fleeing to Ghana. Although Kelechi admitted to killing Lizzie, he insisted it was not intentional. But Lizzie's family rejected that claim. They said he had been pestering her for marriage, but she refused, calling him a small boy. They believed he planned the murder all along out of anger and greed. The third and final case is a 22-year-old who killed a sugar mummy and tried to sell her car. In November 2022, when police finally broke into the apartment of 32-year-old Amarachi Chukwu in Enugu, they were met with a horrific sight: her decomposing remains. The shocking discovery came days after neighbors complained of a foul odor coming from her home. Investigations later revealed that her 22-year-old boyfriend, Chidubim, was behind her death. On November 1, 2024, Chidubim and an accomplice went to Amarachi's house with the intention of stealing a Toyota Corolla. But when she refused to hand over her car key, things took a deadly turn. They tied her hands, legs, and mouth with pieces of cloth, locked her inside the apartment, and fled in the car. For days, Amarachi's body lay undiscovered, until November 4, when police forced the door open and found her remains. Less than a week later, on November 8, police operatives in Enugu, working with officers in Imo State, tracked Chidubim down to the Nekede area of Owerri, where he was attempting to sell the stolen Toyota Corolla. He was immediately arrested and, after investigations, charged in court and remanded at the Enugu Custodial Center, pending further hearing. What are your thoughts about today's episode? Drop your thoughts in the comment section and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.